Hello and welcome. My name is Amber, and every year I take part in a series challenge where the aim is to read books that are part of a series. I take part in this challenge because I'm very good at starting series and very bad at ending them. And in theory, this challenge will help with that, although so far it's not been doing so, and has been leading to me being partway through more series than before I started doing the challenges. So I think part of that is because of the challenge subcategories, which are to start series, to continue series, to finish series, and to read series from start to finish. So I think it's because of the start series and read series from start to finish that the challenge isn't working for me. So this year I'm not going to be doing those subcategories, but I'll still be doing the continuing series and finishing series. But I'm going to split that up, so I'm going to be doing it for books that I am reading with my eyes and audio books. And then I'm also going to have an extra category for 5-star series. However, I won't be splitting them into finish and continue, as there's only one, so there's not that much point. This year, I'm also going to only be using books that I already have for this, or audiobook-wise, audiobooks that I can get with my Spotify subscription, because I'm trying to save some money, and my bookshelves are already bowing, so I don't need to add any more to them. But in theory, for reading books that I already own, if I find ones that I don't like, I'll get rid of them, and that will make more space, hopefully. So here is what I plan on reading. First of all, the series that I want to continue. So first, I hope to continue the Alex Rider series by Anthony Horowitz. This is a series that I started reading as a child, but never completed it. So I'm rereading it in the hopes to complete it at some point. So this series is about Alex, who after his uncle dies, finds himself being trained to replace him as a spy. It's a fun, action-packed series that I loved as a child, and in all honesty, I probably liked it as I dreamed of being a spy when I was a child. Briefly, I had many other dreams. Wanted to be a doctor, astronaut, pilot, vet, teacher, and many other careers as well. But these books definitely gave me a bit of a spy phase. I'm also enjoying reading them as an adult, but just nowhere near as much as I did as a kid. So this year I hope to read books 4 to 8. So that is Eagle Strike, Scorpia, Archangel, Snakehead, and Crocodile Tears. You can probably guess at about where in the series the books were out to when I started, because of course I've got paperback versions up to Archangel, and I've found that with quite a lot of series that I read as a child, when I first started reading them, there'd be a few out, so I'd read them in paperback, and then I'd catch up, and then the next one that would come out would be in a hardback, and I'd go from there. I also aim to continue A Song of Ice and Fire by George R.R. Martin. This is an epic fantasy series about who will end up on the Iron Throne, and while the people of Westeros are all fighting, backstabbing, manipulating, trying to get who they want on the throne, in the north, another danger that's believed to be a myth is on its way. Like many people, I loved the TV show, didn't like the last series, and the TV show led me to reading the books. I was a little nervous going in because in the past I've read quite a few dry, boring, hard to get through epic fantasies, and I was expecting this to be the same. I was pleasantly surprised. It's really easy to read, it's engaging, and I've already read the first 2 books and really enjoyed them. So this year I aim to read books 3 and 4, which are A Storm of Swords and A Feast for Crows. But with this series, I'm not really in a hurry to get through it. You can probably guess why. When is that next book coming out? And then I aim to read another series that I started as a child, never finished, and are now rereading in the hopes to finish. And that is The Old Kingdom by Garth Nix. So set in a world where demons, magic and necromancy exist, the Barden is someone who can travel into the land of the dead and can control demons using bells, or I guess more specifically, the noise that the bells produce. In the first book, Sabriel is the daughter of the Barden, and when she learns that her father is missing, she heads out to try and save him, and I suppose protect the land of the living in the process. With this series, I read the first 3 books and I thought that was it. I thought it was done. and then many years later I saw that there were more in the bookstore. And now with rereading them, I've read books 1 and 2, and this year I hope to read Abortion, which is the third book, and there's a possibility that I've got one of his short stories in an anthology as well, but I'll have to check that. Then I hope to continue the Bobiverse by Dennis E. Taylor. This is a series about Bob when the first chapter dies. A century later, his brain is uploaded into computer hardware, and he is now in control of the AI on an interstellar probe looking for habitable planets. This is a fun, entertaining read detailing his space adventure. It has plenty of sci-fi references, but I think I was only able to spot the very few of them. I have had people tell me about others that I hadn't noticed because I didn't have the background knowledge. I really enjoyed the first book, so this year I hope to read books 2 till 4, so that is For We Are Many, All These Worlds, and Heaven's River. I believe there'll be more in the future, but as of yet, if I read them, that will mean I'm up to date with the series. I then hope to continue the Dollanganger series by V.C. Andrews. You're probably aware of the first book, which is Flowers in the Attic, but there are more books in that series, although not all are written by V.C. Andrews. I think when she died, a load of ghostwriters took over, so there could well still be books coming out by her, even though she's been gone for quite a while. So in Flowers in the Attic, after their father's death, 4 children are taken by their mother to live with her parents. However, her father must not know that they are there, because many years ago he basically told her that he didn't want anything to do with her, and he also didn't want anything to do with her children. And she's managed to reform some sort of relationship with him, but he's not yet willing to accept the children. So they are hidden in the attic so that he doesn't know that they're there, with the idea that once she has properly mended the relationship, she will tell him about the kids and they can move back down and live with them. I believe the rest of the series follows these kids and their wider family. I have read books 1, 2 and the prequel, and I've enjoyed them all. They're quite dark. Well, basically the first book is about child abuse, so they're dark. I especially like the prequel Garden of Shadows, as it shows how the grandmother in the book became to be who she was. She was never a good person, but we could see how her circumstances shaped her into something worse. Again, this is actually a series I started as a child. I think I read the first 4 books, so again, I'm rereading some of them to continue the series. Again, I didn't actually know there was more in the series until a few years ago. So this year, I hope to reread book 3, which is If There Be Thorns. Then I also hope to read books 4 to 9, and that is Seeds of Yesterday, Christopher's Diary Secrets of Foxworth, Christopher's Diary Echoes of Dollanganger. So I really don't know if I'm pronouncing their surname right. I should have probably looked it up, but there you go. Secret Brother, and Beneath the Attic. It's a shame that my set doesn't match, but we'll just have to live with it. So I think only up to Seeds of Yesterday were actually written by V.C. Andrews, and the rest were written by someone else. So I'm a little worried that once we've got past what she wrote, that they're not going to be very good. But I have written books that are written under her name by a different person before, and I enjoyed them. So hopefully I will enjoy these as well. I guess we'll find out sometime this year if I stick to this challenge. Then I only have one 5-star series that I want to continue. That is The Cemetery of Forgotten Books by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. I've read the first book, The Shadow of the Wind, and that was what I rated 5-star. So I'm really hoping that the rest of the series lives up to it. In the first book, Daniel picks out a book from the Cemetery of Forgotten Books, and he finds solace in the book after the death of his mother. He then sets out to find any of the books written by this author, but instead finds out that somebody is going around destroying all books written by this author. So this causes him to delve into the author's past and then basically solve the mystery of this author and why somebody is destroying the books. It's been a while since I've read this book, so I can't really remember what I liked about it. But this year I hope to read The Angel's Game, The Prisoner of Heaven, and The Labyrinth of Spirits, which is quite a chunk. But I guess so are the Game of Thrones books that I'm also planning on reading. So I think this does complete the main series, but there are some novellas as well. So I hope to read them at some point. and that is why I'm including this as continuing rather than finishing. So then I hope to continue 5 audiobook series. So first I want to continue Girl Meets Duke by Tessa. This is a fun Regency romance series where basically each book focuses on a different member of a friends group, and in the process of the book they will find love. I've read the first 2 books already, which were The Duchess Deal and The Governor's Game, and I really liked both of them. And then this year I hope to read The Wallflower Wager. I've actually already done this. It was the first book I read this year, and I'd honestly forgotten how funny the series is, and I think it's because of this humour that I really enjoy the series. Then I also hope to continue Fred the Vampire Accountant by Drew Hayes. These are a series of books that are about Fred, a vampire accountant. His life before he died was very dull, and then he died, and then his life was equally dull afterwards. But then he attends a school reunion where he meets an old friend, and through her he is plunged into the supernatural world, and his life starts to become a little less boring. I read the first book last year, which was the utterly uninteresting and unadventurous Tales of Fred the Vampire Accountant, and I hadn't expected much from this book. I was at work and I needed an audiobook to listen to, so I very quickly tried to find one that was interesting, and this was what I landed on. I was pleasantly surprised as I really enjoyed it, and I think I rated it a high 4 stars, so I'm hoping that the rest of the series matches up. I have already started the second book, which is Undeath and Taxes. I'm not that far into it, but I'm enjoying it so far. And then I also hope to read Bloody Acquisitions as well. And then I hope to continue the Blood series by Stuart Neville. This is a series that I feel crosses genres. It's primarily a thriller, but there's a supernatural twist as well. It's about Rebecca, who is on the road with her daughter trying to keep her safe. And then we also have a second protagonist, which is an FBI agent who is obsessed with a serial killer who is draining their victims of blood and severing their spinal cord. I listened to the first book, Blood Like Mine, last year, and I had thought it was a standalone. And then in October, I think it was, a second book came out, and when I've looked online, I think it's going to be a trilogy. So this year I hope to listen to Blood Like Ours, and this is another book that I've actually started already, and I'm enjoying it so far. Then I hope to continue Hotel Flamingo by Alex Milway. So during lockdown, Amazon made some children's audiobooks free. One of these was Hotel Flamingo, which was an enjoyable listen about Anna, who inherits a hotel that has seen better days. With the help of the hotel staff, who happen to all be animals, Anna tries to restore this hotel to its former glory. And this year I plan on continuing the series, listening to Holiday Heatwave, Carnival Caper, Fabulous Feast, and Frosty Fiesta. Another audiobook that I listened to for free during lockdown was The Secret Explorers and the Lost Whales. This is from the Secret Explorers series, which is about a group of kids who come together to fix problems, solve mysteries, and gather knowledge from around the world. There's possibly time travel in it, but I can't quite remember. I believe that the series includes a lot of actual facts in them, so it's quite educational, and I think it encourages kids to take more of an interest in the world around them. I plan on continuing this series and listening to The Comic Collisions, The Tomb Robbers, The Jurassic Rescue, The Rainforest Rangers, and The Smoking Volcano. Now for the series that I want to complete. So first, the Spiderwick Chronicles by Tony DiTerlizzi and Holly Black. This is another series that I started ages ago. The first book was a field guide, and it's about a family who move into a house in the middle of nowhere. They then find this field guide, which is about fairies and things, and they discover that there is actually a parallel world running alongside theirs, and this discovery puts them into danger. This year I plan on reading The Seeing Stone, Lucinda's Secret, The Ironwood Tree, and The Wrath of Mulgareth. I thought at first it was called Mulgarth, but I'm looking at it and it looks like it's Mulgareth, which makes it sound a little less mystical. I then hope to finish The Dark Legacy of Shannara by Terry Books. I've read the first 2 books of the trilogy and just have Witchwraith to go. This series is about a land where magic is dying out and the world is no longer protected against evil. Affinglow, a druid, discovers a diary which details how the elf stones used to be used to ward the land, but that they have since become lost. Now, it's been a while since I've read the first 2, so I could be mistaken there. and I perhaps need to read a summary before I actually start the third one. So I also only discovered that this series is part of a wider series, and that this is a few series in, I believe. And I discovered this when the Shannara TV show came out, and I discovered that there was more than these books. And that is why I've started this trilogy before I've started the original trilogy. But even though I've not finished this trilogy, I have actually started the first trilogy, which means I'm reading them in a bit of a weird order. But there we go. Then I hope to finish the Firebird series by Claudia Gray. This is about Marguerite, whose father is murdered, and her parents had invented a device that allows you to travel between worlds. So when the murderer escapes to another world, she uses another device to follow him. I've read the main trilogy, which are 1,000 Pieces of You, 10,000 Skies Above You, and A Million Worlds with You. I rated each book 4 stars, so I enjoyed them. And this year I plan on reading the short story First Impressions, which will enable me to complete the series. I then hope to finish the WICCA series by Cate Tiernan. I believe this is known as Sweep in the US. It's a series that I read and loved as a child. In fact, I became quite obsessional with it for a little bit. And a few years ago I decided to reread it, basically for nostalgia's sake. This series starts when a new kid starts school. He encourages some of the other students to come to a coven meeting, and there our main character Morgan discovers that she has a natural talent for magic. This year I hope to read Spellbound, The Calling, Changeling, Strife, Seeker, Origins, Eclipse, Reckoning, Full Circle, and Knight's Child. So although there's quite a few books in that series to get through, they are quite short and easy to get through. I also hope to finish Ghost in the Shell by Masamune Shirow. I read the first book, Ghost in the Shell, the other year, and I admit I wasn't that much of a fan, but I want to give it another try. It's about a cyborg policewoman who works in counter-cyber terrorism, and I think that might actually be all I can remember about the first book, so I may have to refresh my memory on what that's about as well. But this year I hope to read Human Error Processor, which is book 1.5, and book 2, Man-Machine Interface, or DNF them trying. Then there are 2 audiobook series that I want to continue. That's Steel Pack Alphas by Reece Barden. I've already read The Chase and the Hunt, so this year I just need to read The Kill. This trilogy is about a werewolf pack, and it's basically about particular members finding love. But there's also a non-romance plot running through it as well, which runs through the whole 3 books. Now, that plot line for me wasn't strong enough in the second book, so I enjoyed the first book, but didn't enjoy the second book as much because that plot line at times took a back step to the romance, or more specifically, it took a back step to the smut. And I actually found that the second book, there was too much smut in it, that it ignored the main storyline, and I actually grew a bit bored of it. But hopefully the third one picks up and is as good as the first one. Then I hope to continue the Robert Grimm series by Thomas Olde. It's possibly this is a duology, but I'm not sure. I listened to Hex last year, which is about a haunted town where you can never leave. It's haunted by a woman who has her eyes and her mouth stitched up. I did think at first that it was a standalone, but then saw that there was another one in the series. But this seems to not be a direct follow-on from the first book, but rather have one same character and be elsewhere in the world. But I'm not 100% on that. So that's what I hope to read for my series challenge. To sum it up, I aim to continue 5 series through reading 17 books, continue 1 5-star series through reading 3 books, continue 5 audiobook series by reading 13 books, complete 5 series through reading 18 books, and complete 2 audiobook series by listening to 2 books. So that's a total of 53 books. I'm probably not going to get all of them read, but the main purpose of this challenge is to leave the year being partway through less series than at the start. I might one day show you how many series I am partway through, but at the moment I'm too ashamed. So have you read any of the series that I spoke about today? If so, what do you think? Are there any that you think I should prioritise? Let me know in the comments. And as always, like this video if you like it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will catch you in the next one.